The email hit like a slap. Due to repeated connection failures during our demo, we're moving forward with another vendor. My stomach dropped. Months of work, a potential six-figure contract, gone because my internet decided to play dead right when it mattered most. I stormed upstairs, router in hand like a weapon. The network monitor told the ugly truth. Someone was raping my bandwidth. Multiple unknown devices latched on, streaming 4K like it was free Netflix. The signal trace pointed straight up, to my roof. Heart pounding, I climbed the ladder in the dark. There they were, 3 sleek, professional Wi-Fi repeaters professionally bolted through my brand-new Spanish tiles, green lights blinking mockingly. No note. No permission. Just pure HOA entitlement. The next morning, I marched into the community office. Karen Ellison sat there in her signature pastel cardigan, looking like the queen of suburbia. Before I could speak, she smiled that sweet, poisonous smile. "Oh, Jordan, darling, I see you've discovered our new community connectivity initiative. You were chosen as a primary hub. Isn't that exciting?" "Exciting," I said, voice dangerously calm. "You drilled into my roof without asking, and now you're stealing my internet and power." She waved a hand. The notice was posted in the clubhouse for 3 whole weeks. Silence equals consent, you know. It's all in the bylaws for the greater good of Sunnyvale Estates. I smiled back thinly. She had no idea who she just poked. I spent the afternoon documenting every inch, photos, videos, MAC addresses. Then I ran the diagnostics deeper. Not only were they sucking my data dry, high-def streams, online gaming marathons from at least a dozen houses, even a cryptocurrency miner chugging away, but they were siphoning power too. A sloppy splice into my main panel, hidden behind a coat of paint. My electric bill had jumped 30%. The audacity was almost admirable, if it wasn't so criminal. Back in my home office, I sat in the dark, staring at the screens. Jordan Hayes, the antisocial tech guy they'd whispered about in neighborhood meetings, the one Karen had once tried to find for visual clutter because my satellite dish was too modern. They thought I was just some nerd. Perfect. Let them think that. I started small. A fake terms of service splash page forced through the repeaters. "Welcome to Sunnyvale Fiber Company. Your community partner." Buried deep in the legalese. Any usage over 50 megs a day triggers standard overage fees of 27 cents per megabyte. I watched the acknowledgments roll in within hours. 10, 20, 30 households blindly clicking, "I agree." Next came the shell company, Sunnyvale Fiber Company, registered that same night, complete with a boring corporate website and automated invoicing. First wave of bills went out small and innocent. $47 here, $62 there. Just enough to make people scratch their heads. Then I sent one big test invoice straight to the HOA treasurer for $1,842. 3 days later, the payment portal pinged. Paid in full. No questions. Bureaucracy really is a beautiful thing. Karen's own household finally tripped the threshold. $214.90 winged its way to 14 Maple Lane, the Pastel Palace itself. I leaned back in my chair, pulled up the discrete feed I'd quietly enabled through the repeaters, purely for network diagnostics, of course, and waited. Right on cue, Karen stormed into the office, waving the invoice like it was on fire. "Arthur, what on earth is this Sunnyvale fiber nonsense? $1,400? Cancel it immediately." Poor Arthur shuffled papers, sweating. "I thought it was the vendor we approved for the connectivity project." Karen's voice cracked into that special register only entitled women over 50 can reach. "A vendor? This is robbery. Find out who these people are and shut it down." I smiled so wide my face hurt. She was blaming the ghost I created. Phase 1 complete. But I knew Karen wouldn't stop. Her type never does. The counterattack arrived taped to my front door the next morning, 3 bright orange citations. Unauthorized rooftop equipment, the very repeaters they installed, non-compliant electrical routing, their illegal splice, and my personal favorite, public endangerment via unstable antenna deployment. The hypocrisy was so thick you could spread it on toast. That evening a soft knock sounded. "Mrs." Patricia Lang from 2 doors down stood on my porch holding a pitcher of lemonade. Quiet retiree, oversized sun hat, always pruning her roses. "I saw what they did to your roof, dear," she said. voice calm but edged with steel. They tried the same community light scam on my place years ago, but they probably didn't realize who they were dealing with this time. She leaned in. I spent 32 years at the Public Utilities Commission enforcing exactly these kinds of violations. Let me see what you've got. I spread the photos, the logs, the power graphs across my dining table. Patricia's eyes narrowed like a hawk spotting prey. Part 15 violations, unlicensed transmitters, improper grounding, felony-level electricity theft. These fools just handed you the keys to their kingdom. For the first time since climbing that ladder, I felt something besides rage. I felt possibility. With Patricia's blessing, I went to work on the reset loop. A tiny firmware tweak. Every 7 minutes the repeaters would hard reboot themselves, dropping every connected device. For extra flavor, I embedded a calm synthetic voice that hijacked nearby smart speakers. Network interruption. Please contact your HOA. The neighborhood exploded. Group chats lit up like fireworks. Can't even finish my show. My kid got booted from Fortnite finals again. What the hell is Sunnyvale Fiber doing? Karen blasted a community email about malicious hackers targeting our wonderful initiative. She vowed aggressive investigation. I posted anonymously in the comments. Has anyone actually seen the contract with this Sunnyvale Fiber company? The pressure cooker started whistling. I kept the chaos going with the power bounce trap, a smart home script that cut the exact circuit feeding the repeaters for 10 seconds during peak hours. Just enough to crash streams and force reconnects without tripping breakers. The forums filled with confused complaints about random buffering. Karen doubled down, blaming the fictional provider even harder. Then came the emergency board meeting. Accessing their video feed through my own repeaters was child's play. This time I didn't just watch. I routed the entire feed live to the brand new Sunnyvale HOA Nightmares Facebook group I'd quietly created. Residents got front row seats to Karen alternating between blaming invisible hackers and berating poor Arthur for failing the community. The comment section detonated. Decades of pin-up fines for grass too long, flags too big, holiday lights too early poured out. The HOA's response. Another citation nailed to my door demanding I restore the roof to community standards within 7 days, meaning remove the illegal equipment they themselves installed. They were now fining me for their own crime. While they flailed, Patricia and I finalized the cease and desist. It was a masterpiece. Every violation cited, every statute quoted, defamation threats included. Patricia signed as former PUC enforcement officer. A retired municipal judge from the next block added his name too. Certified mail, delivered. The accusatory emails stopped instantly. But Karen was cornered now, and cornered animals bite. At the next emergency meeting, she pointed straight at me on the live feed. This isn't just incompetence. I believe Jordan Hayes is actively sabotaging our community out of spite. He's digitally hostile. The risk level jumped. She was painting me as the villain. I reached out to an old colleague who'd spent years battling regulatory nonsense for major tech firms. His reply was short and perfect. Expose the whole ridiculous setup with cold, hard data. Make transparency your weapon. He was right. No more shadow games. We drafted the formal request for an immediate HOA transparency audit, citing obscure bylaws that demanded full disclosure of contracts and expenditures. Sent to every resident on the official list. The neighborhood started choosing sides. The final firmware update was pure poetry. The repeaters began broadcasting one powerful open network named Karen Stole Bandwidth. Anyone who connected landed on a simple page. Ask the HOA why your Wi-Fi is trash. Screenshots flooded the group. Memes exploded, Karen's face photoshopped onto a burning router. Even the quiet retirees were laughing. The HOA's reputation didn't just crack, it vaporized. That weekend I climbed the ladder one last time, filmed every satisfying twist of the bolts, every yank of the illegal cables, and dropped the 3 repeaters into a trash bin with a glorious thud. Posted the edited video to the group. The applause was deafening. With the board paralyzed and Karen isolated, Patricia called the special meeting. Open to all residents, live-streamed on the new stable connection provided by, surprise, my now fully legitimate Sunnyvale Fiber Company. Karen showed up in full pastel armor, launching into a speech about procedure and unity. The silence that greeted her was colder than a winter HOA fine. Patricia stood. Point of order. I move to vote on the immediate removal of Karen Ellison for gross mismanagement, breach of fiduciary duty, and loss of community trust. Seconded instantly. The vote wasn't even close. Karen's face went the color of spoiled milk. She tried one last, "This is outrageous," but the gavel fell. She was out. Patricia was elected interim president to actual applause. Her first acts: nullify every outstanding petty citation, open the financial books, and dissolve the disastrous connectivity program. The old regime was finished. I sent the real business proposal directly to every household. Transparent pricing, real fiber, actual accountability. Within 48 hours, over half the neighborhood signed up. They wanted reliability, not Karen's greater good. Karen had one last desperate card: a lawsuit thick with legal nonsense, malicious interference, public humiliation, even cyber piracy. My lawyer dropped the mountain of evidence on her attorney's desk. 2 weeks later, she quietly dropped the suit, citing personal stress. Her house went on the market the next month. She moved out one quiet Saturday, no goodbyes. The new owners, a young couple with 2 gamer kids, saw the story, laughed, and brought over a cake shaped like a router. I applied for and received a permit for a modest ham radio tower in my backyard. Perfectly legal, excellent for emergency comms, and coincidentally tall enough to cast a long afternoon shadow across Karen's former prize rose garden. Petty? Maybe. Satisfying? Absolutely. The local news picked up the tale as the tech guy who took down the HOA. National tech blogs ran with it. The neighborhood finally breathed. Meetings became productive. People actually smiled at each other instead of measuring each other's lawn height. I placed a little wooden trophy on my shelf, a miniature router engraved King of Bandwidth, Neighborhood Edition. No note, but I knew exactly who sent it. Sometimes the sweetest justice isn't loud. It's quiet, patient, and delivered with flawless documentation. So tell me, folks, was I the villain for fighting dirty against a system that was already rigged, or is the real crime letting Karens like her rule our neighborhoods in the name of community standards? You decide.